We shall see. And it says we are live. So
well, how about that?
Freaking awesome.
Oh, my computer. It's a dinosaur. Like, it is so slow. I'm trying to pull up YouTube right now so I can, like, see the chat, and it is not wanting to pull up for me.
Well, it can't go smooth every time, that's for sure. Always something.
Yeah.
There we go. Let's see if I can do this, and then I'm going to have to mute real quick. Don't get the feedback. Oh, you said I can pause, right?
I think.
Pause. There we go. I did it. Woohoo! All right, we see. Frogs rule. You are first. Welcome. Hey, Miss Amy Herberger. Yeah, I know. It's exciting. Amy's back in the house.
Hi. Sorry, I can't see your comments yet because this silly computer is giving me attitude.
What's been going on? You know, we have a new year and
yeah,
and where have you been?
I've been going crazy. No, for some reason.
Start from the beginning.
I really don't even know where the beginning is. It's just been a big blur this month. Everything's been chaotic. You know, every week we plan on coming on, and every Tuesday it seems like something's going on. And typically it's my husband's schedule, but he's home tonight, so it's like, oh, finally.
Wonderful.
But we've been dealing with stomach bugs because, of course, I have 3 kids, so it goes through one and then the other and then the other, and it's just a fun week. And then getting back in the groove with merch and KDP, and then, of course, homeschooling and all of that. So it's just been a very crazy January. It's just, but finally things are settling down a little bit. So,
well, and even with the craziness and even with the stomach bugs and, you know, the unplanned schedules and all that kind of stuff, you didn't have to ask a boss to, you know, take a day off or be there for your kids, and you still sold shirts, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's one thing that's really nice about merch. I mean, there have been days that I really haven't been able to even log on until right before bed, and it's like, wow, okay, so I'm still kind of making some money. That's a dream for me, you know. So
yeah, well, yeah. It's a dream for most people, but you know, but the thing about it is, truthfully, and we've known because we've been talking to you, like, you know, throughout this past year, you know, it wasn't a wish. If it was a dream, fantastic, but definitely wasn't a wish because you put action behind it, and that's kind of how this is. You know, is it a full? Do people be like, oh yeah, there's no you know, business that has residual income or whatever, and or wait, not true. What do they say? Is it true residual or no? There was something else, but basically like on autopilot. And granted, yes, it's not on autopilot forever. Would she be able to make the same amount of money? But at the same time, there is.
It kind of is, though.
Yeah, totally. You know, and we, like I said, I mean, even Q4, we experienced that, you know, a good amount, and even carrying into this month, it's really, really nice to be able to, you know, come in, do what you need to do, and get back. It's better if you can be consistent, clearly, but you know what? It's allows you to be able to focus on what's important when things happen.
Yeah, I agree. How's your first quarter been going? How's your January?
Good. You know, it's funny because so one of the shows that we discussed, I think it was on Girl Boss. It was when John decided, it was like last minute sub, I think. So when John was on and we were talking about the whole reading and how important that was, and how, you know, impactful that has been. And he had kind of been like on and off for a while, and you know, we'd always try to like get in the groove. And seriously, since I don't know, it was sometime in December, and he started reading Tools of the Titans, which is a very intimidating book. I mean, it's intimidating in size, but it's the way that Tim Ferriss like breaks it up. It's, you know, in bite-sized chunks. So you really don't have to read it. It's not like something that you have to read cover to cover. But anyways, that's just what he decided to start with, and he really enjoyed it. And he has just been devouring books. And like, it's been a habit for both of us that, you know, and it's really set the tone for our morning routine. So it's been incredible, like something that we kind of actually look forward to. Like in the mornings, we get up now, and it's not a 5 a.m., but it's a 6 a.m. get up. And that helps with him a lot, because for me, like I can sometimes force myself. But even with me now, like 6 a.m. just seems like way better than 5 a.m. So getting up, going downstairs, like, you know, reading, like he sits in the chair, I'm sitting on the couch, and we've just been doing that. And it's just been the kind of like natural. And there's different things that we've been putting in place in the morning that's totally set the tone for, you know, the rest of the day. And it's been incredible. And I know that we've tried different things, you know, and sometimes we do it for a little bit and we fall off the wagon and whatever. So that's just kind of natural. But, you know, we've always known, and any type of, you know, anybody that we've talked to or listened to speak, or, you know, in the books, somebody that's successful and they're sharing part of their success, always said morning routine, having a morning routine, having a morning routine. And so, you know, this has just been something, I think this has probably been the longest, and just a groove that it's just not something that I don't feel like it's something we'll fall off of, but it's just made such a huge difference in our businesses and the stuff that we can accomplish within the day by being, just getting our head right in the morning, but then also coming together for a quick little like map out. And again, that's what we usually did, but because sometimes it wasn't like happening like at kind of that same time. And for some reason, like kind of that would throw us off. Like one of us would be ready and one of us is not ready. I mean, you guys know that if you're like husband and wife, sometimes one of you guys is ready for something and sometimes no, we're talking about morning routine here, but like same thing. Like sometimes like one of us would be in business mindset. We're like ready to go, you know, let's have a meeting or talk. And the other one's just kind of like waking up and just like being like, okay, hang on, let me get through some of my emails first or whatever. So just getting on that same wavelength from both of us sitting down and like reading and getting some really good, awesome, you know, personal development in first has been, it's just synergistic. And it's so funny because working together, and I would imagine it's even some people if they're working, you know, with a partner, whether it's their spouse or not, or even if they're not working, they're just like running a household together, you know, like you guys do. And if you're not like synced, it's like it's totally counterproductive, you know, but like when you are, again, like you can tell it's synergistic. And so it's been good. It's been really exciting. We're going to Grant Cardone's 10X Growth Con 3 in Miami, Friday through Sunday. So both of us.
This Friday?
Yeah.
It's already here? Wow.
It is already here.
Okay.
Getting the heck out of here, out of this frozen tundra vortex ridiculousness. And so that's going to be good. I mean, it's just kind of like a launching pad. We're already like, you know, on a good clip right now. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. But what about you? So obviously you had, like I said, the end of everybody knows, well, not everybody knows, but if you watched before, you know, the end of my 2018 was disaster, craziness, whatever. So I was very thankful when we hit 2019 and started off on a good note.
Yeah, finally get to breathe and learn from everything and go forward and have an even better Q4 this year. So
yeah,
I think that's great what y'all are doing. And I mean, I know like me and my husband, we're actually currently trying to figure out how to be more synced because he sees the value in merch and he wants to allow me the time to devote to it. And it's like, okay, well, how can I help you in that and that? So we're still kind of learning how to work together in that.
Yeah. But you know what? Honestly, I think the biggest step in that, and you guys will get it, but the biggest step in that is that he wants, you know, he's in it with you.
Yeah. Very supportive, which is a bonus. Like totally.
Yeah.
But.
Well, obviously, girl making bank.
Yeah.
So, no, well, that's cool. So we'll talk about that a little bit. Talk about how you guys are trying, because I know right now you can say a little bit about his schedule. His schedule's a little bit all over the place, right? So, and it's not super something that you guys can totally plan. So, I mean, is it a day-to-day thing, or do you guys get how much notice?
Yeah. We find out what his schedule's going to be the night before. So we should know what his schedule for tomorrow will be sometime in the next like hour or so. And it can still change the next day. So like he'll have a job in the morning and then all of a sudden something else comes up and he's working till 10 o'clock, which has been happening almost every single week this month. So, and always on a Tuesday. It's like, seriously, why not Wednesday or Thursday? It's always Tuesday night. So I don't know.
On Taco Tuesday.
Yeah.
Well, that is a challenge. But again, thank goodness for the flexibility of merch, and it's not something that you're like, oh, it's, I have to work on it at this hour. So you can kind of like binge on that. Like you binge on Game of Thrones, right?
I actually have been trying to merch and do Game of Thrones at the same time, but I can't do that.
I mean, this is definitely cutting into, I will not be watching Game of Thrones tonight because this is cutting into the time. So all of you guys you're so worth it, but it's funny. So this is kind of a little running joke in like the Girl Boss, like our big, thread of like all the admins and mods, because if anybody knows anything, Amy Herberger's big GOT fan, and she's been talking about it and all these references and these memes and all this stuff. And John and I had not watched it. You had not watched it. And like you caved, and then started giving, and then it was like total peer pressure. I'm like, well, I can't be the only one. Seriously. Like if the rest of the world, like when everybody else was posting about it, I'm like, nah, whatever. But now all of you guys, and I'm like, feel like I'm totally left out. So I was like, all right, I'm in. Gotta watch it. So yeah, we're only on season 2. We're not like we haven't crazy binged it yet. Not had that opportunity to yet, but we're in the mix, man. Well,
if it makes you feel better, I'm only on season 3. So I'm not that far ahead of you.
I know. So I'm just like, no spoilers, anyone. Oh my God.
I know, but it's cool because we can finally understand the memes and the jokes or the GIFs or however you're supposed to pronounce that. And they are. It's like, oh, I get that. That's a great reference.
Yeah. All right.
We're such geeks.
Right? Okay. So I'm going to see if there's anybody. Hey. Emily 3C. Teresa. That is 3C. Holly. Hello. Frogs Rule. I do not know who Frogs Rule is, but that's cute. Teresa says it's going to be -60 with the wind chill in Wisconsin.
Ooh, that's just painful.
Yeah, I heard that there's going to be some -50s. I think we're, if I'm correct, our area is supposed to be like -43. But then the funny thing is by Sunday, it's going to be in the 40s.
Wow.
Well, it was funny because
crazy.
John was like, it's going to be like almost 100, degree swing in 3 days. I'm like, well, I'm like the -40 is with the wind chill. So it's not actually going to be, but I guess it'll feel like that. I won't know because I'm going to be hibernating until we leave Miami. So
hopefully the weather will be much nicer in Miami.
Yeah, it does look, warmer for sure. And then it does show rain. Now, here's the thing. Is anybody from Florida or no? So the event is in the Marlins Stadium. Is that covered? I get Florida, it does rain a lot. So I would kind of think that maybe it'd be smart if it was covered, but I don't know. I guess I could Google that, right? Because nobody
I don't know.
knows, but if John was on, he would probably be able to tell me. I'll just assume he's on and he's going to find out because he should be, even though I don't think he said hi yet. But he should be able to find out because he's pretty quick with the Google. So anyway, so what else? All right, so kind of trying to figure out your guys' schedule and what you can do there. What have you been learning? Okay, so I saw there was something very artsy that you posted about recently.
Couple books.
Yes, like some serious stuff. Like you are getting down in.
Yeah, I've been really want to grow in that world because I can see the advantages that it kind of comes with being on merch and learning just how to be a better designer too and seeing things. So I'm really trying to get better at that. So I've been reading The Creative Habit by Twyla Tharp, I believe is how you say her last name. Excellent book about creativity. And then Drawing on the Right Side of the Brain, which I still haven't like dug into as much as I want to because of
that
January.
Is that kind of technical? It seems a little technical.
Yeah, but I mean, in the introduction, like it's written for people that believe they can't draw but want
Oh,
to,
okay.
or people that just don't know how. And I don't know. It's just, it seems really, I don't know how to really explain it because I just read the introduction, but basically anybody can do it.
Yeah.
You just need to know how, and it's training your brain to see things the way an artist does. And then she's got different like challenges and things for you to do. And she has you start off where you like make a self-portrait, and then at the end of the book you're going to do another self-portrait, and they're going to be two completely different things. So
super
pretty cool.
Yeah, maybe you'll have to share that with us. You'll have to do your self-portrait.
Yeah, I just need to get started. It's like, oh, every time I'm like, okay, finally something happens. And it's just, it's been a crazy month. It really has.
Well, but you'll hit kind of, like I said, kind of like the whirlwind that I had in December. And then the thing is, you're going to be so excited to like, and I think those are the things too. Like I look back and like, you know, it's kind of easy to get in a groove. And I don't really think that, you know, probably either of us ever get necessarily complacent. Like that's why like you're, you know, continuing to grow yourself and everything like that. But at the same time, you know, are you attacking your stuff as, you know, with as much energy and focus as you could have? And I think sometimes like with these setbacks, you know, there's a lot of people that think, oh my gosh, you know, I have kids, or I have a job, or I have whatever, and it's really difficult for me to, you know, dedicate the necessary time. And I think that is all, it varies a lot from person to person based on like that focused effort, because I mean, you can drag stuff out really, really long, or you know what, if you don't have a lot of time, like, and you're just like so amped about, great, you know what, I have an hour, I'm going to knock this out. Like you can get so much done. So if you're really like starving to be able to like do something like that, when you actually get a chance to, because you're dealing with all this life stuff, when you actually get a chance to, if you're focused on that and you're like, okay, I'm going to hit it hard, even whether it's an hour, you know, you can just really, you know, make some headway. So
that's pretty much what I've been doing as far as merch goes. Like there's been days, like I said, I haven't even opened it until the end of the day. But then there's been other days where it's like, oh, wow, I have an hour and a half. So I'm going to get to researching, uploading, designing, and I may only get like 10 things up, but it's like, okay, I did something, you know?
Exactly.
You got to still got to learn how to steal the minutes, especially when life isn't exactly going according to the planner, which has been happening this month. But you know, it's a really humbling experience too, where it's like I'm not always in control. So how do you learn how to navigate that to still work on what you want and be productive with your goals while trying to, you know, juggle everything? It's interesting. And it's okay, you know, it's really teaching me too that I can just calm down, relax. It's not a race, it's a marathon. So if I can't finish it all right now, I might be able to pick it up tomorrow. So it's okay.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just a great, like having that long-term vision is just so important. Like I said, with
it really is.
You know, I see, you know, so many, I don't even think that, you know, there's people just get so discouraged so quickly. And it's really unfortunate. And so I love, you know, seeing just people that are coming up, you know, and speaking of their experience and then speaking of the struggles, but then you just staying at it. And you guys, you're just going to continue to be a huge success story. And I love that the community gets to like see that journey throughout this, because it's, I mean, like we were talking real quick before we even got on, and she's like, okay, well, you know, I didn't expect January to be so good. Of course, it's not December numbers, but, you know, you expect some tanking in January. And I think that this year is so much different from last year because they just fixed so many things. Or I should say they didn't break stuff, you know? So like, you know, last year there was a lot of stuff that they had to work through. And that's the bitter and the sweet of being in early. You know, there's a lot more frustrations when you're in early, but you know what? Like after that, and you stick with it, like you hit that sweet spot. And again, it's not like you're like content, you're like, great, I made it. But you know what? It's definitely something that you're like, dude, I can deal with this as a January, because now I'm going to be working all this year and then just blow it up. Q4 is going to be great again. So are you already like amped up and like, okay, let's get this rolling for Q4? Or are you kind of still?
Yeah, I'm still like, I'm still googly eyed about Q4, and I can't wait till the next Q4 because I know that's even going to be better than this Q4. So yeah, I think from now on, I'm basically just kind of looking at merch from that perspective of everything is leading up to those 2 months or a month and a half, really. You know, it starts really picking up in the middle of November. Right. And just kind of working towards that, because you'll get the sales along the way, but then boom, it's like fireworks. It was incredible. Like, I am so thirsty for that. It's
it's just gonna get better. It's just gonna keep compounding. So that is awesome. And I know Amy had mentioned what about KDP? Are you working on that as a game plan yet? I mean, I know it's in your sights, but have you been?
Yeah, I'm doing KDP. Not as much as I've been wanting to. I'm really trying to juggle merch and KDP with the little limited time that I've had. But I am still uploading on there, and I'm loving that platform. I think if you're on merch and you've already got the designs and you have the idea, like with keywords and stuff, go for it. You can kill it on there too. And are
you mostly doing composition books or journals?
Journals mostly, yeah. I have a couple like log books and things with like custom interiors, but for the most part, just journals. Tangent templates, you know, and just going to town.
Cool. Awesome. All right, let's see. Pay attention a little bit to.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I do not have the chat up.
Oh,
I feel terrible.
No,
it's like, I want to say hi to I've missed all of you people. Like, it's been so long.
All right, so John said he was zoned out. Okay, so if you're still listening and not zoned out, I was wondering if the Marlins Stadium has a roof, or if it rains, if we're going to be like wet. That wouldn't be exciting. We would just have to leave the event. Let's see. Your art is so amazing. Zen Doodle.
Oh, thank you. I'm actually kind of proud. You know, I've really been trying to really make an effort of drawing at least every other day, and it's really cool to see just how much better I've gotten since October. So thank you.
Yeah, when you're in the same thing, when you're consistent with it, you know, I remember you were doing you did what was Inktober?
Inktober started in October, and it was like every day you had to do a drawing, and I've just really been intentional to continue that. So
it's just building those habits and being consistent. Like it's awesome.
Thank you. My big thing now is I just want to figure out like what my voice is as an artist and how I can apply that to places like Redbubble and merch and other, you know, print on demand that focus a lot more on the art stuff.
Yeah. And you know what? It's so cool because I just feel like already it feels like the opportunities like endless when it comes to just the different, you know, products and merch that you can actually put stuff on other sites. And you could just really get incredibly creative and do some really serious, just whether it's awesome, like specific Etsy shops, or like you said, if that's really what you're focused on is creating your voice, man, there is just a lot that you can, you know, do with that. So
yeah. And you know, that's one thing too, when I think about merch and KDP, and even if you're not like an artist or you outsource and things like that, it's still like these platforms are so limitless. It's ridiculous. You know, you hear some people getting upset. Well, you know, maybe it's too saturated or this or that, but I don't personally believe that. I think there might be more competition, but there's still room for you. And I think that, that it really is limitless. Like there's just so much you can do, especially with like KDP. I mean, if you can think of something as simple as a logbook for I don't know, movies you want to see in 2019 or something. I mean, somebody will buy that. It's crazy. You know, if you can think it, you can make it happen, you know. Somebody else will be interested.
Right. Well, and I think too, I think people miss the point of how I think they overestimate the competition. And I think that they all say, oh, I'm not an artist, or I'm not whatever. Like, oh,
yeah, you can't sell yourself short, because right when you do that, like, you're not going to put your best foot forward anyway. So you've already kind of beaten yourself to that truth. You know, you're making that a truth because you're not going at it the way that you would if you were like, oh, I can do this. I can be the David taking on the Goliath. Heck yeah, you know.
And that's it. And it just takes time. It just takes time. And there's so many people that and this is, it's sad. And this is why, I mean, we're on here trying to encourage people to stay in the game and encourage them to know that it's worth their time and their effort. So, you know, obviously this is not what I want, but it's just the truth that there's so many people that are just too short-sighted, that if you are, just be stubborn. Okay. Just be stubborn. Yeah. Just be around longer than everybody else and you will succeed. Seriously.
Make it till you make it.
Yeah, exactly. I said before we got on, I said, stick and stay and you'll get your pay. Like, that's true.
That's the one. Yep.
Of course you can't do nothing. And of course you're going to want to, but you don't have to do anything super crazy. Like, you don't even have to, like, so here's the thing is, like, you're figuring out what you like and enjoy and what you want to focus on and grow on. And it's not like you're not worried about, oh, I have to do, you know, an Etsy shop, or I have to learn all this AMS, or I have to learn how to drive traffic outside of, you know, merch. Like, you're not doing that and you're incredibly successful. So you need to find what you want to do, what you enjoy, stick with it and be consistent with that over a long period of time, which is longer than what, you know, merch has even been around for. So if you just continue to do that,
and then eventually, like, you grow with the platform. So you want to focus on the area that you want to get better at. And then once you get better at that, then you want to look at, okay, let's tackle AMS ads. And then after you figure that out, okay, let's look at Etsy, or let's, you know, you just build upon everything. If you go at it all at one time, you're going to burn out. At least I will burn out. Like, I can't do that. Because it's just too much. But one little bit at a time, like they say, and this is something that I've told some other people that I've helped, you know, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. Well, merch is the elephant. So just a little bit every day, especially focusing on the things that that might not be your favorite, or that you really do desire to be better at. You know, just do a little bit more, and eventually it's like cake.
Yeah.
Super.
And I mean, even don't psych yourself out too. Like, there's a couple things, because I know it can go both ways. Like, you can, you know, look back and be like, oh, well, I started merch, you know, 3 months ago and I'm not where I want to be, or however long, 6 months, a year, however long you've been on the platform. But realistically, like, how much time and effort, I'm not talking hours, whatever, how much consistent effort have you put in? And so I think that it can go both ways, to where people psych themselves out and they feel like because they're thinking about it so much, there's not a lot of that action. So if they were to look and say, okay, again, I always love, like, the 90-day, you know, there's actually,
I was just thinking about that too. It's like, that's where that,
yeah, because there's actually, so there's a challenge that I'm recently, like, kind of taking on. And in this challenge, this was like a secondary thing they suggested, you know, whatever, you're going to do this for 365 days. And I guarantee you, blah, 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 365. And I'm like, that's fine. That's great. And it was like, oh, 365. In essence, it's kind of a short time to commit for, you know, massive results. But like you said, kind of thinking about that and be like, oh my gosh, that full year. Like, have you done anything every single day for a full year besides, you know, eat and go to the bathroom and whatnot? Probably not. Realistically, there's probably a day that you have not done something in an entire year. So, like, I looked back at it and I'm like, you know what? Looking at it and say, okay, I'm going to hit this hard for 90 days. And then once you're in that groove already, it's kind of, if you say, okay, I'm going to do another 90-day cycle, then it just seems like just a lot more manageable to me anyways. Because even 90 days, I mean, 90 days is a good chunk of time to be consistent with something. But I for me, it's more doable. I can actually, you know, conceptualize that a little bit more, and kind of, I would rather string those together than think.
Now, do you find
365?
Do you find yourself like competing with yourself, like just wanting to take that challenge on and prove to yourself that you can do it?
Yes. And it goes, so it's both though. Like when I look at like the 365, and I actually, it's funny because I was actually thinking on this and thinking about why don't people even start something like that usually? Because immediately it's like, okay, come on. Like that is a lot to say every single day. Like something's going to happen to where one day I'm not going to be able to, you know, do something, whatever. But and that's not really the point. Like you don't get like the super award for exactly 365 consecutively, but you know, you do anything pretty much every single day for a year, and you are going to be a totally different person. But initially it is it's intimidating to think about that, and just the commitment part of it, because you also, I mean, there's plenty of things that I've started and quit. Like I just talked about, you know, like we've perfectly intended. I mean, I've done getting up at 5 a.m. I know how important getting up early is, you know, or reading before. And then, you know, we've done it and then we not, or working out, whatever it is. You know, so it's human nature, but I definitely appreciate, I get it. But the whole thing is like, I mean, most people don't do that stuff. So it's really, if you want to be, you know, top in your whatever you want to accomplish, just be consistent. It's not like you have to work. Everybody wants to be like, okay, well, I'm going to do this, you know, and go all in for a month, and then I expect to reap the benefits. That's not how it works.
No, you'll be disappointed every month.
Yeah, for sure. And burnt out, frustrated, whatever. So, but yeah, so I'm definitely looking forward. And basically it's, they discuss publishing. It's kind of funny. So it's the challenge is publishing, but there's different ways that you can publish stuff. Like for instance, this is a way that we're publishing. You can do video. You can actually do blogs, writing, whatever, or like podcast style. And I'm looking and I'm like, I really enjoy video, especially when I get to, you know, collaborate with you and, you know, not necessarily be up here by myself all the time, but I really enjoy working in my PJs more than getting out here and doing video all the time. So I'm not sure. I think it would probably be a little bit more on the podcast side, and then we'll pop in some lives here and there. But still, it's still intimidating because that's, you know, even if you're using your voice, like you pretty much have to kind of bring the energy. And regardless, if I take it on as, you know, a 30-day, a 90-day, whatever it is, you know, starting from a small amount, any type of commitment is just, again, just practice and getting better. So.
And that's exactly what it is too. And I was thinking when you were saying that, like a lot of people, you know, they feel discouraged because they're not quite where they want to be. Well, I've never done design. I've never made a shirt before. Well, here's the thing. If you do stay consistent and work at it, not every single day, because, you know, life, but as much as you can, you'll be surprised where you will be in 90 days. Like you will be better at designing. You'll be better at t-shirt design. Keywords will become more natural. Like everything just works better the more you put towards it. Like we can all do very well. All of us.
And I mean,
consistency.
Exactly. And it's not like it doesn't like cost anything like financially. So the amount of risk that is on here, I mean, is nothing. I mean, it's your time, but if you look at it like an investment in yourself and working to get better, even if it's practice, even if you throw up a bunch of shirts and they tank, so what did you lose? Hopefully you learn from that.
Yes.
You know? So, and hopefully there's things that you decided to get better from, and you're learning from, you know, the people in the community. Like, you know, there's actually going to be a new show coming on. We can mention that. So, Ken Reel and Jay DeSouza are going to be the Canadians. They're gonna be putting a show together, and I think that is gonna be awesome.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. So that's great. Oh, and actually, funny enough, I literally did not see you pop on here, Jay. But hey, Jay. So he's on here, our fellow Canadian. I'm surprised he could get us on here. I always tease him that I'm like, do they even have internet in Canada over there. But yeah, so that's going to be really exciting. So Jay, if you want to like give some info, I don't know when that's going to be. I think that you guys were going to possibly do it today, but Ken is not feeling well. So hopefully he gets better. And oh, De Souza. Wait. Say you're going to have to do it again, different. Yes, we have internet up here. Well, he is the Etsy master.
Yes, he is.
Saying it right. Okay, so I think they're going to pop on. And you don't know a time yet, Jay? Oh, there we go. De Souza. What did I say before? De Souza. I did say De Souza, so De Souza. Got it. These silly Canadians, I tell ya. Oh gosh, John said he answered his question. So if anybody else is sitting on your editor's seat and didn't Google, the Marlins Stadium has a retractable roof. So I think we'll be good. Don't you worry about us. We will be just fine.
You'll be dry and happy and
right. Okay, so they said 7 p.m. Eastern is when he thinks that they're going to be doing this. And if you guys do not know where to find that, promise that it will be posted on the Girl Boss page. So stay up on that. We'll make sure to do that. We could actually pivot real quick and talk a little bit. We can intertwine merch in this conversation, but talk a little bit about the big game that's coming up this Sunday. Do you know anything about that?
I haven't a clue. But you know what? Your husband is like, I'm loving his social media presence this week. He's got the best memes. He's totally giving Matt Cartlett,
Mine was the best, though. And actually, obviously, it wasn't mine. But the one with the goat bite, that one was good. Wait, no, that was Stacy. Whose was that? I stole it. I stole it from...
Trying to think which one was the
goat bite. She posted it on you. No, she posted on your timeline, and I stole it. Shoot, Stephanie.
Gosh, people have been... Oh, my goodness. She has been... Everybody.
It was so good. That was so good.
No, I'm very excited about Sunday.
CJ, that's why I thought it was. I was saying Souza because of Souza tequila. Tequila's my jam. So, yep, that is totally why. But Jay D'Souza got it. Ooh, Jeanne says go Rams.
Yeah, no, not happening.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I think we will probably be in the air for a good chunk of it. So I don't know. I'm sure we'll get internet and we won't be able to actually watch the game, but John will put like, I don't know, what's it called? Game play something. I don't know. He always watches it on his phone if we're not able to actually watch the game, Gamecast or something. So we'll be able to stay up when Mr. Brady is bringing the heat.
Oh, I hope he gets his 6th ring. I just love him so much. No, I've been a Patriots fan my whole life. Okay, so when I was a little girl, I lived in Brockton, Massachusetts, which is in New England. And there was a store that I happened to go to with my sister. And at the store were the New England Patriot cheerleaders. Now, when you're a little girl and you see these incredibly beautiful, very happy and optimistic, like Barbie dolls, basically, you're like, oh my gosh, they're like superstars. And they signed my picture and they're like, make sure you watch the Patriots every Sunday. And I've been a fan ever since. And that was before Brady. I was a fan like back when Bledsoe was throwing the pigskin. So
yeah, well, he's definitely the reason that, John did go to University of Michigan. So and I mean, obviously I'm from Michigan, but yeah, so we've been big fans for sure since he's been there.
Yeah, we'll let you in on the wagon. It's good.
Yeah. Hey, we had him first now.
You did, and I'm so glad that we got him from y'all. He's amazing.
I mean, it's not like we're gonna cheer for the Lions ever.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
My poor uncle. My uncle is a diehard fan, and I can remember every single Thanksgiving, like he would have this little Lions like stuffed football. And back when they had like the big floor TVs or whatever, and like it would just always get to the point where nobody ever really cared, but it would always get to the point and he would just like throw it at the TV and swear and turn it off and walk away.
That's how I watched a lot of the Red Sox games back before 2004.
Oh man. Yeah. So that's pretty funny. So, okay. So I guess we could tie this into merch a little bit because there are definitely been some crazy shirts that are going up. So should we give a little bit of warning to people if they don't know yet.
Read the damn FAQs and DOS. Like, sorry, it gets so old, but no, really.
Stay away.
You do. The NFL never said it was okay for you to make a shirt for them, so don't do it.
Not the Super Bowl, not the Puppy Bowl, not goat stuff, not anything alluding to that. Yes, can you make goat shirts? Yes, you can make goat shirts. If you are cross-niching goats with football, probably not the best idea, just saying. And could that be potentially legal on other sites? Sure, but you know what? Merch is merch. So
yeah, don't
keep your stuff squeaky clean, my friends. We don't need to be no infringingness.
And I get it. It's tempting, especially like the New England versus everyone. You sit there, you see that shirt, and you're just like, oh, that's safe. It's not referencing anything. Well, if you actually look at the history of that phrase, actually it is. So you really need to be careful. And if you don't quite know, or you feel a little bit uneasy about something, it's just better to just keep that at bay.
Well, and if I'm not mistaken, isn't like the core of that, like Detroit versus everybody, isn't that like the main one that's actually trademarked or something? I think it is. I think
and like
an actual brand that is Detroit versus everybody. And I think that's kind of, and again, I don't know if it was new, that could actually be, maybe if it was New England versus everybody, that could actually be something legal in that space. I have no clue. I'm not giving you a green light, but what I would say is no on merch, like just not even, no, can't, no way.
No. And especially if you slap a football on it, like, come on, everybody, like, you guys think, or I'm sorry, not you guys. There are some people that really think they can get away and think they're smarter than Amazon. Yeah. Well, you might get it up there and you might get some sales, but guess what? Eventually that money cow is going to run dry and you're going to be not able to log on to your account because it is infringing and you don't own the rights. You don't own the right. Brady never said it was okay for you to put his face on a shirt.
Man, I saw that one where it was.
I know.
It was an actual, like, basically a character drawing. It was a really great shirt. Like, whoever did that did a really good job, and you don't have an account anymore. Like,
Isn't there a print-on-demand company that FanPrint?
Yes. Okay. No, I think it's okay. Somebody help us. Is it Teespring?
No, there's one. No, there is a. I mean, I know that you can do licensed thing through there.
Okay, that's what I was talking about.
But there is one in particular that is like sports. Like you can actually.
You're right. Somebody knows.
I want to say it was like FanPrint.
Toronto versus everybody. Come on, Jay. You know that they jacked off Detroit. He says,
I'm going to have to look up and see if it was New England or Detroit that came first.
Oh, it was so Detroit that came. It's actually a brand. So now we're fighting. First, we had Brady first. Then we had Detroit versus everybody first. This is getting good. All right. Now you can't even see the comments.
New England keeps getting the leftovers.
We're going to have it out. Okay, let's see. FanPrint. Oh, I think FanPrint went out of business. So it sounds like Holly says that I think it was
fanprint.com. That's it.
So it might have went out of business though.
It's right here.
Oh, maybe not.
Fanprint.com.
Well, if you guys have any urges, there we go. If you have any urges.
Yeah, and down at the bottom, start designing. So if you want to do some NASCAR, Cowboys,
Navy.
Yeah, they got all kinds of stuff here.
That is neat. This is kind of like merch collab over here, but on FanPrint type stuff. The trending designs. Let's see. NASCAR, colleges. Nifty. I wonder how now does it work to where is it royalties? Does anybody know? Oh, Jay says they stopped taking designers. So maybe they stopped designers, and who knows? I don't know if there's an opening again. The site is up. So I don't know if you can like apply or get in. They said they closed it. Let's see.
Oh. Bummer.
Oh, that's interesting. I wonder how the royalties compared, or if that's how I would imagine that's how it would have to work.
If memory serves me right, because I looked into it a while back, and it's been a while, but I think you have to basically market your own stuff.
Okay.
But
well, we can see the FAQ. Well, that's a bummer. We thought everybody was going to be jumping on there now, but it doesn't look like it has anything to do. Nope. Well, hopefully they will reorder or reopen in the future, but it doesn't seem like it even has any information about how you can or alluding to other people creating the designs. So snooze, you lose, I guess, on that one, friends. Maybe there'll be something else that pops up in the future, though.
But either way, just to keep it off of merch.
Yeah, exactly. Definitely not on merch. All right. So funny, I told John, I'm like, okay, because I have some stuff to do. I'm like, okay, we're going to do a hard stop at 10. Doesn't have to be a hard stop, but I think we've covered a good amount of stuff. And you're welcome.
And you were right. So Detroit versus everybody, that y'all had that first.
But, you know, like I said, now you have Brady, you have 6 rings.
Hopefully.
So, I mean,
we have to win one more game to get that six
yeah, I think it's in the bag. I could be
Super Bowl, anything can happen.
Yeah. You know, real quick, just for the heck of it, just because it's on my mind and fresh, and if I don't mention it now, I probably will forget. But so I've been listening to I always listen to different audios and podcasts, and I was listening to Gary Vee, and one of the things that he had said, he was talking about how it was one of the platforms that he was it was when Snapchat ended up changing one of its features or something and changing to memories, to where it was kind of like stories. And it was back in 2013, he said, and he was like standing up at some sort of like symposium or something. And he was basically saying like, that's it, nail in the coffin. Like, this was totally a bad move. And he explained why and and he went through, and it actually turned out that he was totally wrong. And he was like, I was dead wrong. And it's so funny because I feel like, does that mean when he was like dead wrong, did everybody be like, oh my gosh, we're not listening to Gary Vee anymore? I mean, does anybody on here, have you ever heard of Gary Vee? Like, I guess like what I took away from that, the reason why I'm saying it now is because it kind of related a little bit to like bringing things up and like wanting to decide on like publishing things, like whether it's, you know, or even talking about this and like projecting. And I feel like there's a lot of people that are so afraid of failure again, like whether that is with merch or even just discussing something or just being or whatever. Like, I think that people like don't understand that it's okay to be wrong, you know? And so obviously it was, not only was he wrong in a public setting, but he like brought it back up for it, that wrongness to be an example for everybody over and over and over again. And so why do you think he's so successful? He's not afraid to fail, and he's not afraid to be wrong. And he's one of the most consistent and, you know, freaking out there people that you, and nobody get, you know, too concerned. I'm not going to be going at that level, you know, but like, I mean, that's just an incredible testimony to having that type of persistence.
That and too, I mean, it's good for the audience and his followers to see that he's not perfect, you know, that we all mess up and we might say the wrong thing. But I do think it's very courageous for somebody to go back to something that they were wrong about, bring it up and be like, I was wrong. I think that's very, very, very courageous.
Yeah.
I think that's a good word for it.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. Totally agree. So anyways, again, it was kind of a little bit of a side note, but fresh in the mind. And I have a feeling by the time we, you know, chat again here, something else will be in my head by then. How it works. So anyways, yay. I'm so glad to have you back.
I know I've missed this. I have. Hopefully.
So we will try and we'll see. We'll see for next week. We gotta roll with it. Now, is this something that is just like continuous for a very long time, or is it like a season? Or it'll be like, okay, by this month, you know, things will be different.
I'm hoping it's a season, but I really don't know. That's kind of sucky, but that's
all right. Well, we will just keep our hopes up for you, and we'll see if we can hop back on here next week. If not, everybody rest assured that as soon as we can get back on here, you know we will be. So making that happen. But everybody, if you are in the crazy polar vortex, stay warm, stay inside, make your shirts. You can make shirts about this crazy cold all you want. So go ahead and do that. Nothing infringing about that. Come up with funny, crazy sayings. That's a great idea.
Just be careful about tragedy. Just be careful.
Yeah, that's true.
Sometimes,
let's leave that alone, my friends. Let's leave that alone. But yeah, so everybody, thank you for hopping on this evening. Like I said, we'll keep it rolling when we can, when schedules permit. And yeah, we're gonna be done with this month now. First month, 1/12 of the year is in the books, my friends. So if you are not cooking along, let's go. Start designing a ton for St. Patty's Day right now. Get your groove on. But all right, guys, have a wonderful night, and we'll see you soon.
Bye.